foster your interests, follow what feels fun, pay attention to that feeling, and believe that you can do it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women Worldwide. Thank you so much for being here and for tuning in. Well, it's not just a new week, it is a new year that we're welcoming. And there's always a lot to think about, especially when we start off in the year. Many of us are thinking about our careers as we rejuvenate and take some time to reflect. And we realize there's things that we want to change, and sometimes how those changes can re-energize us and get us to where we love and what we love to do. Well, that is the segue to my guest today. Joining me on the show is Anne Benveniste, and Anne is the founder of the Career Studio. Now, Anne has spent many years in advertising and marketing. She's been between New York and London, working with big brands and small brands. Then when she was working in tech, she fell in love with coaching. And that's when she launched her company to help people create the energizing careers that they love. She believes that the formula for success begins with shedding those external expectations and really just being yourself. Well, I could go on and on about Anne, but I think it's time she joins the conversation and shares her journey. Anne, welcome. Welcome to Women Worldwide.
Hi, Deirdre. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Well, I lined it up talking about New Year and how we all step back and we want to feel vibrant and energized in what we do. But before you share all of your advice about that, tell us a little bit about why and how you made that pivot to launch the Career Studio.
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, I built my career in marketing and advertising. And when I hit 30, I kind of had this career identity crisis. I realized that advertising was not where I wanted to be long-term, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do next. And being 30, I thought I was so old, and I kind of panicked, and I said, well, I should just do an MBA. I'm almost too old to even do one, and that'll help me figure it out. It wasn't really thought through, decision made from panic, and it kind of launched me into this whole kind of 4-year detour in my career where doing things that I was kind of thought I should be doing because they looked good. I ended up working in tech after my MBA, and it really wasn't a good fit. I wasn't doing things that I was well suited for. I wasn't working with people that inspired me. And I just felt really out of alignment. And so, all of this time was spent kind of feeling disappointed. So when I found coaching, that was really, as you said, I was like, this is where I should be. This is the direction I should go. And I ended up transitioning into that space and ultimately launching the Career Studio after a few years, really with the intention to help other people like me who are going through these transitions in their career, thinking about what's next. How do I make that process simple, structured, repeatable, so that people don't spend years of their life, in doing things that aren't a good fit, kind of unhappy in their career. We spend a third of our life at work. We want to make that time as rewarding and energizing as possible. So how do I help people get there as quickly as possible? And that's really what I'm doing with the Career Studio.
Well, I think there are probably a lot of people right now who are listening and thinking, I don't feel inspired, or I'm not energized every single day of the week. I read somewhere in some of your materials about being energized on a Monday. Many of us have I used to have the Sunday blues. I didn't want to go to work on Monday. So Anne, tell us, how do you help people? What are some of the starting steps to get them to create that energizing career so they can feel inspired every single day?
Yeah. So, I will say, to caveat this, nothing is perfect every single day, right? Even me, I'm doing something I absolutely love. There's still days when I'm like, I would rather not do this one activity. But I still, every Monday, am excited to do my job. And really, like, my philosophy is it takes less energy to be yourself. So when you design a career around, and these are the three things I really start with my clients: your strengths, what are the things that come so naturally to you, they don't really feel like work. You want to create a role where you get to use your favorite strengths 70% of the time. We want to apply your strengths to the topics that interest you. What does your brain like thinking about, right? If your brain is engaged in the topic, it's going to put all of its horsepower into creating impact and results. And then, it's all well and good doing something that you love, but if you aren't working with people that inspire you, or making the salary that you need, or you're working 100 hours a week, then it's not going to be a good fit. So I want you to combine your strengths and interests with your lifestyle priorities. So we look at those three things as really the foundation of who you are, the foundation of your brand, really authentically, and use that to guide the direction of your career.
This is a really good guide, because I think that we grow up and we're shaped by all of our interactions and all of the people around us. And talk to anybody and they'll say, oh, my parents wanted me to be a teacher. My parents wanted me to do this. I went into this profession because that's what my dad did or my mom did. We're shaped in such a way that it almost feels natural to go in the direction. But once you get into it, you're not yourself. Maybe you're not capitalizing on your strengths, or you're trying to build something so that it appears that way. So I think it's so important, especially the lifestyle piece of it as well. Do you think that's what restricts people from actually taking those steps to feel re-energized? Is it that their shaping and their lifestyle stop them? What would prevent somebody from just completely changing?
Well, I often think, if you're stuck in your career, you're stuck in your mind. I think a lot of people I have a couple of different thoughts on this. Like, one, around your mindset. A lot of people bring preconceived notions about what is or isn't possible. And so if they have, a lot of people just close doors in advance. Oh, that wouldn't be possible for me. I could never do that. It would be too hard. Or I don't know how to do it, or I don't have enough experience, or I have too much experience, whatever. There's a million. And when you have that frame of reference, you don't take any action, right? You feel demotivated and hopeless. And so you just stay where you are. So oftentimes people are stuck in a cycle or a pattern of negative thinking that prevents them from taking action. And so a lot of my work is helping open up what's possible, open up curiosity, open up possibility, to facilitate just even the exploration of what it could be. Equally, I think a lot of us have been trained or we've grown up thinking that passion is something that arrives one day fully formed, right? From a young age, like Sonia knew that she loved music. And then, so we feel that this kind of clarity and direction should just arrive. And people are just waiting for that realization. But actually, for most people, passion doesn't work that way. And the way that you create it is by fostering your interests, by creating opportunities in your life to spend time doing the things that interest you. So if you want to at least put yourself in an environment, either in your work or even on the side of work, where you get to spend time exploring some of the things that interest you and see if anything takes. For me, when I was working in tech, I started doing coaching on the side, volunteer coaching, right? And so it was a very low impact way for me to explore something that had always been on my mind, always thought, oh, I really like. For me, coaching was one of those things where I had all these preconceived notions of, oh, I'm too young, I can't do that. It's like, whatever, it's not a real career,
And
right?
these are all things people tell you as well. So there might be some well-meaning people in your life who share their knowledge or their opinions and beliefs, and that kind of sinks in.
Totally. I think, it's very easy for us to listen to other people's advice, even if it's well-intentioned. It's their own projections of what they think is possible. It's their own projections of how they have lived their life. So, what can be hard about this process is really owning who you are and what matters to you as the first port of call, instead of absorbing other people's opinions as your direction.
I love that you talked about exploration, really exploring. And I know a lot of people have the side hustle as a way to explore. And I do a lot of mentoring, and I tell younger professionals, okay, don't quit your day job, but definitely get out there and do what you love until it builds into something that you want to do full time. It's interesting because when you're younger, I think we're all explorers and we do so much exploring. And as we get older, something happens where I don't know if it's comfort zone. I'm not sure. It could be complacency. Is that one of the challenges that you find, that people also, maybe they don't hate their work, maybe they're okay with it, but it's just this sense of complacency?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people get into a situation where maybe they're raising a family, they need a certain level of income, and they feel maybe trapped into doing something that delivers on those lifestyle priorities, right? Or they have a perspective that, work isn't great and it is basically about a paycheck, and like some parts are okay, but like it's kind of fine, right? And also, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if that works for you, that's fine.
Right.
People that come to me and who I work with are people who are like, I'm not okay with this, right? I do want to find a way to have like more energy and meaning in my career, but also, we want to find that while also keeping in mind of your lifestyle priorities, right? If you're taking care of a couple kids, like, we need to find a way for you to feel energized and motivated professionally while also supporting your family. One doesn't have to come at the expense of the other. I think sometimes that's where people get confused. They think, oh, if I have all of these responsibilities, I can't also like love my job.
Right. And I think that's where you mapped out those three things. The third one was the lifestyle priority, which is really good.
Yeah.
Maybe you could share with us an aha moment or an uh-oh moment that's really stuck with you. One of those big learning moments.
Yeah. I got fired from a job in tech, which was ultimately my one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it put me on the path to find you here. And this is often the way of hardships in our life turn out to be important information for what matters to us. So, but I think like what I took away from that, and it's more of a macro commentary on my career, is that I guess my philosophy is to really follow the fun. When I look at the different roles I've had, and I've had many different jobs, the ones where I really thrived and I created a lot of impact and I really enjoyed it are roles that I was really excited to do. Like the night before I started my career in advertising, I was like, couldn't sleep because I was so excited. The couple weeks before I quit my full-time job and started the career studio, I just like couldn't wait to do it. The other jobs I've had were more taken from a rational place of like, this will look good on my CV, this will give me this kind of experience, or like, this feels like a good next step, or this is the right thing to do, whatever. Like, I was making the decision from a rational place and didn't feel excited and fun in my body. I kind of knew I wasn't that excited, and I was talking myself into it. So a lot of my work is helping people tap into that feeling, right? Of what actually interests you, what's actually fun, what are you actually excited about? Because that's really going to be where your sweet spot is. Like when you thrive in your career, that's when you're going to have the most success. That's when you're going to have the most impact. And that's really when you're going to shine. So pay attention to that feeling, follow that feeling, and that's how you will, be in the right place for you.
Absolutely. I am all for finding what is fun. It's that I would do this any day of the week. I would give it away for free, except I get paid for it. That's how fun it is. I had a business coach who said that was always the first question that she asked everybody was, what would you do? Just, you love it so much. It's so much fun. You would give it away, but you actually get paid. So on that fun note, do you think, you mentioned working with people who really, they're ambitious. They want to get energized, to kind of find that energizing career. Are you seeing, is it generational? Do you work with more millennials? Are you working with Gen X? Or is it even Gen Z is coming into the workforce and they need help? So who are you working with?
Most of my clients are, I find that kind of hitting 30 and your early 30s is a time of reimagining who you are and what you're about. So I'd say most of my clients are millennials or Gen X, like in their 40s.
Yes.
But it's usually people who have been like successful somewhere or have built a reputation somewhere and are now thinking about, this no longer feels like the formula for success for me, or I need to reimagine something. And usually, life and the natural cadence of life presents that growth opportunity at different phases. So I think, a lot of my clients are kind of in their early 30s and reimagining what the next step of their career
makes
can look like.
sense. Do you think that social media has something to do with that? You're in your early 30s and you're out there on Instagram, or you're on TikTok and you see people doing different things, and there's all these influencers, and does it make you step back maybe to say, wow, I don't feel as vibrant as maybe they look or how they appear? What do you think about social media affecting the need?
I think I think that social media, look, I love it for some reasons. I hate it for other reasons. And
Me too. I'm with you.
I will tell you about both of those. I think it can be toxic, right? To compare yourself to other people, right? My whole philosophy is tap into yourself. But, and so that can be a toxic place to live from. That being said, what I think is cool about social media is its ability to connect you with different kinds of audiences, niche audiences. What I think it's facilitated is really like creating almost a career around anything that interests you. That's what I think is so exciting about like what we're living through right now. I think it's genuinely possible in a way it hasn't ever been to create a career around who you are and what matters to you, because you can connect to all these audiences through a platform like social media, right? If you're obsessed with plants, you don't have to go work at a gardening store. You could start a YouTube channel about plants and like connect to people that way and create, a reputation that way. So I think there's a lot of ways that social media facilitates some of these dreams in a way that wasn't possible before. So, that's what I think is exciting, but also, don't beat yourself up and compare yourself to the facade that people are presenting online.
Right. Be careful of the highlight reel.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
But I love what you said, because social media does provide that long tail of anything. You can find information on anything and you can be anything. And there's an influencer for everything. Like you said, the plant expert, you name it, it's definitely there. So that's super interesting. Well, I can't even believe it, but we're coming to the close, and we would love to hear some parting advice for the Women Worldwide Network about the career path, being energized, and just really reaching your dreams.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already said it, right? But really, it's just foster your interests, follow what feels fun, pay attention to that feeling, and like believe that you can do it, right? The number, actually, like, this is what I would say, the main factor in your success is believing that it's possible. And if you believe it's possible, you'll get as close as possible, right? If you believe it's possible, you'll act as if, you'll think creatively, you'll approach challenges with curiosity and ambition. If you think it's not possible, it won't be possible. So it's really all comes down to your mindset, and you have agency there to think what you want. Your thoughts are not your reality. You get to choose what you focus on. So believe in possibility.
Excellent. I think this is a year to believe. And I love the think creatively and approach curiosity, because otherwise it's stagnant, and we're all moving and growing, and learning is so important. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that advice. And last question, super easy. Where can people find out more about you and the Career Studio?
Sure. So 2 places. You can visit me on my website, which is www.thecareer.studio. And I have a weekly newsletter that you can sign up for there. And then I'm also very active on LinkedIn, and you can just search my name, or we'll put a link in the show notes, and you can follow me there. I post lots of stuff and go live from time to time. So yeah.
Fantastic. Anne, thank you so much for being on the show, sharing your journey, all of your insights and advice. We really appreciate you.
It's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And a big thank you to all of you for tuning in. You know what I always say, keep the conversations going and the feedback coming. You know where to find me. I'm at Dee Breckenridge on Twitter. And you know what? If you want to watch the video episodes, make sure you subscribe. Okay, friends, until our next episode, stay focused, energized, and feeling empowered. Thank you.